Hi everybody, this is Black Rhino Ranger. Originally I had another version of this video made, but after I decided to redo it because let's just say there are some things I might have said wrong about it. I decided to do it a bit again so I can get things a bit more correct and I don't repeat the same mistakes I said earlier. So, anyways, Here's another commentary on one of my birthday animation countdowns I did last year. Here we are in 2012 when I transformed from a boy to a man. Yes, I turned 18 back then. It was the last year where I stayed in England and I moved permanently back to Malaysia for good. But before that, around my birthday time, I managed to visit the United States for the very first time. And there were two places I went: Denver, Colorado, where my uncle and aunt used to live. Now they reside in Connecticut. And the other trip is, of course, Florida. And I went to every bit, and I mostly went there to visit the Walt Disney World in Florida, where I had to visit the Magic Kingdom, the Animal Kingdom, the Epcot, and Disney Hollywood Studios. And also this year, I actually did go back to the Animal Kingdom because let's just say I had to retake those pictures again. I mean, I used to take a lot of pictures with the Animal Kingdom back then, but as soon as I inserted them, it was the first time I heard of the word reformatting, and that's precisely what happened to those pictures. They were all gone because of the reformatting. So 13 years later, I decided to go back to the Animal Kingdom after knowing that some places were closing, like the Dinosaur Park and the Bugs Life, and I managed to take a picture of some things. In fact, I got some pictures right over here. Here's a picture of some dinosaurs, Daisy with a Corythosaurus, another dinosaur, Ceratopsian, the bones thing. I have taken pictures of the. I also have taken pictures of the part where the dinosaur carnival section is not being teared down. Is closed but not yet torn down. I managed to take a picture of a sauropod statue before it got torn down. So there's that. And of course, I also managed to, excuse me for a minute, I managed to get to see the Bugs Life part before it's gone. That's what happened. And I had a trip to America for the first time. I enjoyed it. I was kind of naive about its controversies and bad histories and also some other bad things about it, but I still had a bit of a fun time. It was why I considered 2012 one of my better years. Like a great start to my early adulthood. So anyways, what is my most favorite cartoon of 2012? It's The Legend of Korra. In fact, I kind of am more attached to Korra than I am to Avatar The Last Airbender. Maybe because I'm a bit of a simp for Korra, especially at the time, but I don't know. I just found myself more intrigued by the oldie early 20th century aesthetics, like the early radio, the early movie pictures. They call it a mover. So, and also some of the connection with the spirit realm and stuff like that. I found myself attached to Korra a bit more than Avatar The Last Airbender. Again, maybe because I may have a thing for Korra. And also, Korra is an example of an early LGBTQIA plus cartoon for kids. And it would probably be what led us to shows like The Loud House, The Owl House, the reboot to She-Ra, etc. Yeah. Some prefer Lumity more, some prefer Catradora more, some prefer other relationships more, but if it weren't for Kamarasamy, imagine what the landscape of LGBTQIA plus animations might have been like today. So, and also I heard they're making another Avatar-related cartoon this year, or was it next year? They are making another Avatar cartoon soon. It's going to focus on another Avatar character, and they say Korra might have caused a bit of collateral damage on some things, similar to Star Butterfly when she cleaved Earth and Muni together. But nevertheless, I still look forward to it, and I still like Korra, and I still like Star Butterfly. Don't at me, please. Anyways, one of my honorable mentions: DreamWorks Dragons, one of the few DreamWorks cartoons before Netflix to have a DreamWorks show not aired on Nickelodeon. The other most DreamWorks shows were airing on Nickelodeon, like Penguins of Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda: Legends of Awesomeness, and later Monsters vs. Aliens, which not my thing. So I like the movie fine, but the show certainly not my thing. Gravity Falls. Do I have to say why a lot of people love it? In fact, a lot of people. It was one of, if not the most famous Disney Channel cartoon of all time. Almost everybody talked about Gravity Falls. While Phineas and Ferb was like one of Disney's most popular TV shows, Gravity Falls is the one that almost everybody talked about. It was kind of the Avatar or Invader Zim of the Disney company. Again, SpongeBob may have been more popular than most Nicktoons, but Invader Zim and Avatar are often the most talked about. Gravity Falls is similar. Most Phineas and Ferb is perhaps more popular, but Gravity Falls is the one that's talked about the most. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012. It's a nice a worthy follow-up to the 1987 cartoon and the 2003 cartoon, and it's a nice or not follow-up, a nice reboot. It's 3D, and it can look a little odd at times, but it's pretty swell, some say it's the best of the Ninja Turtle cartoons, although some people prefer the 2003 one. But I still think it has some highlights and here or there. And there are some times when I think they did a great job on bringing in the 80s cartoon Turtles, more so than Turtles Forever. But nevertheless, it's a fun trip which balances both something nostalgic and something new at the same time for the Ninja Turtles. Ben 10 Omniverse may look a bit odd considering that they were all designed by the same guy who designed the original Teen Titans, Transformers Animated, and Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. But I think Ben 10 Omniverse is the last good thing Ben 10 related, a worthy follow-up to the things. It's a bit more lighthearted, but I think it's more action-packed and other things. It expands on Ben 10 a lot more. It has a nice cameos like with Cow and Chicken. If only they did something better with Ben 10 afterwards instead of the reboot. I don't know what they're going to do with the franchise now, since Cartoon Network's kind of trying to distance themselves from action shows and trying to focus more on comedy. But even then, they're limiting on the animation parts. Like, they got rid of a whole chunk of Looney Tunes. I don't know. So anyway, what's my most favorite animated film of 2012? Well, as you can see here, it is Wreck-It Ralph. Now, believe it or not, fellas, Wreck-It Ralph is perhaps my most favorite of the Walt Disney animated canon films. In case you're wondering, my number 2 would be The Jungle Book, and somewhere between 6, 5, 4, and 3 would be The Lion King, Robin Hood, or Aladdin, or a few others. I had to rewatch them to see which is my most favorite, but Jungle Book and Wreck-It Ralph on my top. No, Robin Hood, Jungle Book, and Wreck-It Ralph on my top 3, and Wreck-It Ralph is my number 1. Because I'm into video games a lot, especially the I can understand how the Wreck-It Ralph, how the video game world works Even though I'm more of a console person than I am arcade, I can still understand the nostalgic appeal with arcade games, like with Pac-Man and Mario, and some parodies of it, like Heroes Duties, like Call of Duty, and Sugar Rush is like Mario Kart. So many things with Wreck-It Ralph. I wish we had a better Wreck-It Ralph game, though. Maybe, here's a funny thing. If there was a Lego Wreck-It Ralph, imagine the creative possibilities with that. Anyways, which are my honorable mentions of 2012? The Pirates, Band of Misfits. It's another Aardman-made production, and I think it was a great way for them to return to their stop-motion roots. And in fact, the Pirates Band of Misfits was my inspiration to make the Skyrits in the Band of Misadventures with Ponies, Transformers, and Mr. Man, and it's one of my longest shorts, one of my longest animations Skylanders related. It also borrows a bit of Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff. The Pirates Band of Misfits, I think, should have gotten a bit of a sequel because there's literally an entire book series it's based on. And it's a shame, really. I think they could have gone on to a few more adventures. Hotel Transylvania. Its odd, slapstick, cartoony animation is quite different. Dare I say, a bit more different than Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. But they also had more subtle moments compared to Cloudy. And I think it's a great way to introduce kids to some horror figures like Dracula and the Mummy, the Werewolf, and the Frankenstein. If the classic horror movies are not their tease. If Bela Lugosi or Gary Oldman is too scary, then go with Adam Sandler. If the Brendan Fraser Mummies is too scary, just go with the CeeLo Green or Keegan Michael Key Mummy. Jonathan can be a bit annoying at times, but he never really bothered me that much. And I do dig the Hotel Transylvania franchise, directed by Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack creator J.D. Tartakovsky too. I think he's great at mastering both the seriousness of Samurai Jack and Star Wars, the Clone Wars, as well as comedy like with Dexter's Lab and Hotel Transylvania. Madagascar 3. I think it's a worthy conclusion to the Madagascar trilogy, and it was something I was always hoping to see for Madagascar to head back to New York, the cast to head back to New York, and it was a dream come true. I got to see the Madagascar characters head back to New York, and it's a fun ride with the European circus act and stuff like that. The colors. Again, I think this is a great way to end the franchise. I have heard they were trying to make a fourth, but then they canceled it a bit because it was a bit of a reshifting at DreamWorks because of the box office results in 2014. With Penguins of Madagascar currently being their last feature-length film. Not the TV series, the feature-length film. If they do make a fourth, I am curious to what they're going to do, just like I'm curious with Shrek 5. And finally, Rise of the Guardians. It's a great way, I think it's an interesting take on the mythological beings, which may or may not have been something that children did see, like Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, the Sandman, and Jack Frost. And the Boogeyman, too. If they had a sequel, I think the ones they should bring in are Cupid, Mother Nature, the Krampus, and maybe the Grim Reaper, because they're also kind of figures or something like that. Maybe the devil, I don't know, but there's possibilities for those type of believing creatures or something like that. I think this type of concept they can really, really expand. Anyways, now finally, what is my most favorite video game? That's easy. It's Skylanders Giants, and it's big. Okay, it's not as big as Spyro's Adventure, but the amounts of, but I do think it's a nice update on bringing in the Giants. The Giants are kind of fun to play, and we get some more characters, and some of them would later become quite iconic as Skylanders, like Pop Fizz and Jetvac. And I also had the bit of a Huts for Ninjini. Hey, sorry about that. um, you get to, and in fact, the Giants are some of the most powerful beings in all of Skylands. If you play as them in the future games, they'll be kind of unstoppable. Anyways, one of my honorable mentions, Halo 4. While I didn't enjoy it as much as Halo Reach or Halo 3, I thought Halo 4 was still a pretty good game, and I think it was the last Xbox exclusive thing I ever played. I had a few more Xbox games played, but I kind of lost a bit of interest in Xbox in the later years. I stuck around with PlayStation, but again, Halo is still one of my go-gets on console on when it comes to Xbox. I didn't get the one for Xbox One, nor do I get any for the Xbox X or Xbox S, but I still look fondly on my Halo experience. Transformers Fall of Cybertron. I believe it's the last really good Transformers video game, and it's a shame really because most video games that Transformers related have been kind of lacklusterish. Transformers Rise of the Darkstar was basically imported, and the transformations look kind of weird. They tried too hard to combine Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron with Age of Extinction, which I think they probably should have stuck with an Age of Extinction standalone game like with the Dark of the Moon game, or make a follow-up to Fall of Cybertron. And just focus on Cybertron, or during the moment when Optimus and Megatron were like, "No, the portal! The vortex is tearing us apart! No, I will not be delayed!" And then he gets sucked into the portal and disappeared. That was the last thing we saw from them onward. We never saw what happened to them afterwards. It's a shame, really, because I think there's potential for more games like this, and you also get to create your own Transformer because of it, mix and matching different parts. There are mods to help you that, and unfortunately Activision closed its servers. I wish for another game like this. I did think of a Beast Wars like one. Think of something like Beast Wars, or maybe expand on creating your own combiner transformer or something. I think there's possibilities for that, but Hasbro's just too focused on making toys or trying to appeal to kiddies. A shame, really. Street Fighter X Tekken. I think it's a great way to introduce Street Fighter and Tekken into one. Fight them for the first time. You get to have Ryu and Ken face off against Jim and Kazuya, and Chun-Li and Cammy facing off against Nina and Asuka and Lily and many others. I thought it was a bit of a dream come true to see Street Fighter and Tekken face off together. There was another version being made called Tekken X Street Fighter from Namco, but I think they're scrapped and they're just focusing on making Tekken games like Tekken 7 and Tekken 8. But I think it was a nice touch. And I believe that this game, Street Fighter X Tekken, is what got me more into Street Fighter. Before I was more into Tekken, mainly because of the animal characters like Kuma, Roger, Alex, Gon, and the ones with the animal heads like King and Armor King. But when I got Street Fighter X Tekken, I suddenly wanted to play more Street Fighter, and I got my hands on Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, and currently Street Fighter 6, which I have yet to play. And speaking of Tekken, another of my favorites would be Tekken Tag Tournament 2, which I believe as of now holds the biggest roster of all the Tekken games. You got to play as almost every Tekken character up to that date back then. There were a few others like there was one they missed out named Gon, but he was a guest character. And now that they've made Tekken 7 and Tekken 8, this makes me wonder, would they make a Tekken Tag Tournament 3, or will they after 8, or will they have to make a 9 first and then Tekken Tag Tournament 8 and 3? Let me know if they'll go with that after. But it's a bit too soon to say that because Tekken 8 is still relatively new, and I'm still playing it. I have heard it gotten great reception earlier, but then in later times that the reception's a bit dwindled a bit. So anyway, without further ado, let's continue the animation. Also, the background's changed a little bit. Those are red hands. Those are not Black Rhino Ranger's hands. And the background looks different too. Looks like it's beachy. And I see over here is Trigger Happy with Korra and who's that girl again? Actually, let me look this up. Let me look up the name of this elf girl. Let's see. Wreck It Ralph Elf Girl Villain. Her name is just Sorceress. And she's a tall and voluptuous with white hips and slim waist, given an hourglass figure. Hey, it's what's said in the description. Not that's not what I'm saying. And I decided to draw her because I believe this is Trigger Happy would also go. Yes, I made Trigger Happy a bit of a Pepe Le Pew and Johnny Bravo type of character. Why? Maybe because he's a little guy and he likes to go with the tall girls. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I apologize, ladies. I apologize, but at this time, I think this is something we. Actually, that's why I wanted. I apologize, ladies, if you're offended by this, but what can I do? Dumb men just be dumb men. I'm just a dumb man. That's all. I'm a bit of a simp. What can I do? Maybe a bit of rehab. And I have Trigger Happy resting on Ninjini between her. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. But it turns out it was all just a dream, all just in Trigger Happy's head. The real characters he's accompanied with are Barkley from Skylanders Giants. He's a sidekick who later became a mini and trap team. Hubert from Wreck-It Ralph, who I first heard of in Wreck-It Ralph. I never played the game. And a little Sky Bison, a something Appa is. And I heard they were becoming rare. They were rare in Avatar: The Last Airbender, but they became more common in The Legend of Korra. So he's basically enforced to read the letters. So the letters from Super Logan 2015. What is my favorite Skylander from Giants? Didn't I show you that earlier? And his favorite video game is a Little Big Planet PS Vita. I heard it's kind of like the PlayStation Portal, though I never owned any of those, so I don't know how to say this. And instead of asking me to draw it to do anything, he just gave me a present, a drawing of Trigger Happy. And my response is, my ears and that's fat. So yeah, that's my commentary of the 2012 thing. 2012, and that's when I started to become adult, and I would continue being adult in my later years. I had a bit of fun drawing this particular part. Again, sorry if I offend anybody, as we are trying to be a bit more with the feminism and stuff like that. But I don't know. I thought I needed to draw something that kind of comforts me, to say the least. Again, I do apologize if you're a bit uncomfortable with this. But I don't know what to say, really. I don't know what to say. Maybe you can ask me about it if you're all right with this or not, but in the comment section. But comment about it any way you want. I'll try and listen. I hope you've enjoyed this video.